Um, After my first stay in the mental hospital, I saw a psychiatrist regularly to um, get my medication. And for about 4 years, they kept changing medication, trying to find something that would work and keep me at a functional level. Uh, After ninth grade, school became very difficult for me. I tried to go back and do my 10th grade year at the regular public high school, but with all the medication in my system and the shame of being diagnosed with schizophrenia, I fell into a deep depression. My friend group, I told them about what had happened to me, and some of them claimed that mental illness wasn't real. It was all just in my head, and I was just doing it for attention. Some tried to be supportive, but I saw myself as a freak, and I started to push my friends away. This will go into a bit of a weird tangent, but I had one friend, I'll call her A, and she had a boyfriend since middle school called S. And sadly, much to my shame, I had a really big crush on S, but I never acted on it in middle school. Uh, A was just so much prettier than me. I didn't think I really had a chance. But A and S were two of my friends, and I enjoyed spending time with them. The three of us were in pre AP English in 8th grade, and we had a lot of fun together. Um, S had a really good sense of humor that was kind of similar to mine. He got me into the Fable series. Now I can't really enjoy Fable without thinking about him, so I guess it's a good thing I sold my Xbox. Um, there was this one time in English class we were learning about witch trials in America, and the teacher had us put on a skit, and I was the witch on trial, and S was my defense lawyer. And I was a bit of a drama nerd in middle school, and the whole mock trial became a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed putting on the skit with S. The teacher kind of just let us do whatever because he realized we were just having so much fun with it. It's just one of my happier memories. Um, but backtrack back before I was hospitalized, before my huge mental break, A and S were having some trouble in their relationship. And stupidly, I took the opportunity to admit my feelings. That was part of what kind of helped break me, I guess. He never returned my feelings, but he and A broke up, and I kind of felt guilty for breaking them up because after she left S, A found a new older boyfriend, and he ended up getting her pregnant, but that's really a story for another time. I just, I think I've always carried that guilt with me. If I had just kept my mouth shut, maybe A&S could have worked out their problems. So, after my stay in the first mental hospital, like I said, I tried to return to regular public school, but I had difficulty. My friends started treating me differently, and I started to withdraw into myself even more. I eventually just couldn't handle going to school anymore and stopped going. That's when I tried attempting suicide and cutting myself. Since I was on so many pills at the time, I would look up the lethal dose of the pills and try to kill myself that way. Memory's kind of hazy, but usually my parents would find me passed out in my room with the pill bottles and my suicide note, and they would rush me to the hospital. Obviously, after I was stabilized, since I was a suicide risk, they sent me back into mental hospitals. This time to a mental hospital called UBH, University of Behavioral Health. UBH, I guess, is a good program. I didn't see any weirdos masturbating in the parking lot while I was there, so that's good. It felt a bit more like a prison, though. I obviously was still a minor, so I was put in with other teenagers. Sometimes I would get kind of scared of the other patients. And in the first mental hospital, I had a room to myself. But in UBH, you have a roommate. And I had my first roommate. She was piercing herself somehow. She had gotten a hold of a needle, and she was giving everyone ear holes for earrings, I guess. And she kind of freaked me out, so I would hide in the bathroom to avoid her. She would just end up using the bathroom in the day room while I was holed up in there. UBH got me a new psychiatrist who thought the schizophrenia diagnosis was a bit too much, so they tried treating me as manic, bipolar, depressive, and that started a long trial of different psychiatrists who'd see me and try different medications. The medications, a lot of them were antidepressants, and those will certainly put the weight on you. Believe it or not, in middle school and beginning of 9th grade, I was actually a very skinny person. I wore size 0 jeans and had to shop in the children's section because I was so puny. But with all those pills pumped into me, man, did the fat start to accumulate. I guess I have all of those psych meds to thank for the freakishly large triple D tits I have now. Silver lining, I guess. So at the end of my so when I tried to stop going to school, my mom signed me up for homeschool, but that didn't really work. At this time, A was pregnant, but she was continuing to go to school, to a satellite school, because they didn't allow pregnant girls to mix with the regular public school. And thanks to A, I was actually able to find the satellite school and sign up for it myself, because they also took problem cases like me. So really it was thanks to A that I found the satellite school, and I eventually was able to actually graduate with a high school diploma. But at the end of my 10th grade year, I had another mental break and was sent to the hospital, UBH again. This time, my parents really didn't like the psychiatrist, so they found a doctor in the city where I live, a suburb in Dallas, and his I guess I'll just call him Dr. Z. He became my savior in a way. He took me off all of the medicine that was causing problems. Before Dr. Z, the medicine I was prescribed could be very dangerous. I would try to overdose on them, and mixing them together would sometimes cause me to have seizures. And one time, I took a bunch of pills hoping to kill myself, and I tried to go upstairs. My house is 2-story and my bedroom is at the top floor, so I tried to go crawl into my bed to die, basically, but I ended up falling down the stairs and injuring myself pretty badly. I cracked my skull open. That was really awful. I was actually in a coma for about 2 months. No memory of whatever happened there. But after that incident, I started to have seizures more often. But back to Dr. Z, he saw how the medicine was affecting me and how depressed I was and how I was taking pills and cutting myself. He put me on better medication, and he got me some therapy, so I was able to work through some of my problems. High school was still very difficult for me to graduate, but I somehow managed to do it with Dr. Z's help. I still felt very worthless, though, as a result. I continued cutting. There's a show, American Horror Story, and they said that if you cut yourself vertically, that it's harder for the doctors to sew up. So I tried to cut myself that way, but that only ended up a big mess and giving me a scar. Luckily, though, the doctors were able to fix up my arm, so the scar isn't visible anymore. I pretty much didn't have a friend group once I graduated. A and I kept in contact. By this time, she had a kid of her own. But we kind of butted heads and argued, and I just decided that our relationship wasn't good, so I kept to myself. And this will be continued. I've already hit the 15-minute mark again.